here on the hilltop as SMU tries to move to 6-0. They're 5-0 for the first time in 5 years, matching up with Arkansas State from the Sun Belt. Ted Emmerich, David Padgett, our entire crew. A-State coming off a loss at St. Mary's in the Bay Area a couple of nights ago. And A-State almost starting with a turnover here, but Chandler Jackson, their point guard, the Florida State transfer, recovered it, and it goes in. A-State on the board first. Same starting five as the last 3 games for the Mustangs. The veterans returning, and Boopie Miller and B.J. Edwards from that team a year ago that finished tied for 4th in the first year in the ACC, along with Samet Yigitoglu on the interior. SMU turns it over on their first possession. And as for A-State, entirely new team, David. 15 newcomers, 10 transfers, 5 freshmen for Ryan Pannone, the former Alabama assistant. Jackson is the leader at point guard, the former Seminole.
Obviously very early here in this young basketball season, but Ryan Pannone has done a fantastic job with this roster, getting them off to a good start. See Chandler Jackson right away being very aggressive. Both these teams are really going to look to get the ball off the glass on the defensive end and get up the court quickly.
Jaron Pierre was the 4th leading scorer in the country at Jacksonville State a year ago. Missed the 3, and here comes A-State. So a tough 2 games in 3 days on the road for Arkansas State. The Red Wolves turn it over. Here is Boopie Miller, preseason 2nd team All-ACC. Edwards missed the 3, but an offensive rebound by Corey Washington. And Washington left it short, so a little in the basket for SMU to start.
And that was going to be a concern for Ryan Pannone's team coming into this game. Can they handle their own on the backboard? And very lucky right there, SMU unable to convert with a couple of offensive rebounds.
Ali Tunkara is listed at 7'3", and he just gave Samet Yigitoglu the too small on that bucket.
And that was a tough finish. That wasn't bad defense there. Now getting a little tangled up here, top of the key. Arkansas State coming out confidently, getting that ball inside early.
Hey, but as a big man yourself, you got to love Tunkara at 7'3" and Yigitoglu at 7'2". There's SMU's first points. B.J. Edwards hits the 3.
Well, that's what has made SMU such a dangerous team this season. This 4-guard lineup around Yigitoglu, the spacing is so good. When he rolls, you got to help, but you're leaving a shooter wide open in the corner.
The floater goes for Christian Harmon, coming off a 21-point game in that loss to St. Mary's.
You see right away, Arkansas State making a priority to get the ball in the lane and attack the basket, having some success here in the first couple of minutes.
And now Washington at the bottom of the pile, and Tunkara just staring at him from above. But the whistle did blow. And it's going to stay at this end. And David, to your point, if you watched Alabama the last few years, right, the pace and space under Nate Oates, Ryan Pannone coordinated that offense. He has brought that system to Jonesboro and Arkansas State.
Yeah, they're averaging over 80 points a game, and they've played a very difficult schedule. This would be their 5th road game out of their first 6 games. Hung tough at St. Mary's, a very difficult place to play the other night out in California. So getting tested early on in the season, but he's going to have a very, very good team by the time conference play rolls around. You said it, they love to get up and down, and this is a team in SMU that's really going to look to push the pace with them. Expect this game to be in the 80s and 90s, if not more.
And what a unique resume for Pannone. Coached overseas, coached in the G League, was under Willie Green as an assistant with the Pelicans in the NBA in the last 3 years at Alabama. Washington right down the chute to tie the score.
Yeah, pretty good defense there by Arkansas State. Just got a little bit lost there when the ball got inside. But those are the best kinds of threes right there, inside to out basketball.
So 3 by Edwards and a 3 by Washington for SMU. TJ Caldwell is back home, the Dallas native, so fired up for this game. Under 10 to shoot for Arkansas State. And Chandler Jackson turned it over.
One of the best times to shoot a 3 is off the kick out from getting the ball inside. You see right here, Arkansas State just clogging up the lane. Just slow to get out on Corey Washington, knocking down the 3. SMU, a very good 3-point shooting team. As you see a little full court pressure here for the first time from the Red Wolves. shooting almost 40% as a team so far in the first 5 games of the season. Just a very potent, very dangerous offensive basketball team.
Here's Boopie Miller trying a three. It's offline. Overall, you do love the spacing that SMU provides here in the early go.
Well, this 4-guard lineup, it almost happened by accident. See a turnover here. Pierre looking to get out on the break.
And Washington, an acrobat in the open floor. Counted on the foul.
Well, talking to Andy Enfield today, that's what he wanted to see his team improve upon is their defense. And right there, turning defense into offense. Just a good anticipation there by Pierre Jr. getting out on the break. Good find in the 3-on-2 with Washington off to a quick start here offensively. You're a team like Arkansas State going on the road. The one thing you cannot do is turn the ball over. SMU will make you pay in a hurry.
And Washington caps off the three-point play. The transfer from Wichita State, he was second-team All-American Conference a year ago. Really an X-factor type player for SMU. Harmon in a little bit of trouble, gave it up to Jackson. Harmon is the best three-point shooter on the team, and he cashes in.
Picking up right where he left off the other night, his best game at St. Mary's, and that time Boopie Miller went underneath the fade screen. A guy like Harmon, the numbers are a little misleading percentage-wise. He's been shooting the ball well. Knocks down the open three.
He started the season 2 of 26 from downtown, but he was 4 of 9 against St. Mary's the other night. Pierre short. And the rebound by Chudy Diorama, the transfer from Sacramento State. Oh, Harmon threading the needle. Somehow that pass got to Jackson. Arkansas State turns it over anyway. And Pierre scoops it in with a foul at the other end.
Mustangs getting off to a quick start here offensively, creating a couple easy steals, getting out on the break. Jaron Pierre Jr. chance for the three-point play when we come back.
SMU coach Andy Enfield stressed at shoot-around earlier today. Hey, Arkansas State wants to push the pace. We want to push it right back. So far, they've done exactly that.
Well, Arkansas State has gotten good looks when they've taken care of the ball, but they already have 4 early turnovers in this game, and SMU has made them pay every single time. See here just being active on defense, getting their hands in there, getting out on the break, and they do as good of a job as any team in the country of getting from one end to the other, turning those turnovers into points. Jaron Pierre Jr. here with a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play.
So Pierre was the Conference USA Player of the Year last year at Jacksonville State, now in his 6th year of college basketball. He came off the bench, David, the first 2 games, as Andy Enfield told us today. He wasn't playing the right way in practice leading up to the season. He was taking bad shots. He wasn't trying on defense. And once he started to show that in the gym here off to the side, he earned his minutes on the floor to start.
Oh, it's amazing how the bench can be the ultimate motivator sometimes as SMU goes a little 2-2-1 full court here back to a matchup 2-3 type zone. But there's always a little bit of a transition when you transfer from a school like Jacksonville State, a historically pretty good program. You mentioned it, Conference USA Player of the Year a year ago, but now you're playing in the ACC. You don't have free reign to just come down and shoot the ball whenever you want, because everybody else you're playing with is also very talented. So a little bit of an adjustment period, but give him credit. He has really figured out his role and has played extremely well these last couple of games.
I mean, it's a resume that's not uncommon these days in college basketball, that nomadic lifestyle from Southern Miss to Wichita State to Jacksonville State, and now here an opportunity at SMU. Edwards, the former Tennessee Volunteer, knocks down the mid-range jam.
Great move there by B.J. Edwards. Didn't force it, trying to get all the way to the basket. Under control, came to a jump stop, knocked down that nice little mid-range jumper.
Jackson Ellingsworth is familiar with the Metroplex. Played across town at UT Arlington last year. Jackson missed the 3. The follow is good. Ellingsworth got a piece of that. And a stoppage. Now Ellingsworth brings an edge to this team. Ryan Pannone talked about it earlier today. Just something that every team needs. He has just enough without going over the line. He'll fight you inside.
Well, you know, a lot of people use the old cliche, he does all the dirty work, but he really does do whatever's asked of him. He can step out and knock down threes. He can facilitate, score inside. See that time getting to the offensive glass for the tip-in. Got to have guys like that on your team if you want to be successful. I don't care how talented you are. You need guys to sacrifice their role to do what's in the best interest of the team.
Miller being hounded by Matt Heyman. Miller coming off back-to-back points, assists, double-doubles against Butler and Arkansas Pine Bluff. Washington with 9 to shoot. Mitchell Holmes, the backup big, off target. Washington, the offensive rebound. Pierre lost the handle. A scrum, got it to Edwards. Still plenty of time for SMU.
The shot clock didn't reset there, so under 10 here.
Miller working against Heyman, and a foul called.
That is just a killer possession right there. You play very good defense initially, give up an offensive rebound, and end up fouling after playing about 45 seconds of defense.
Yeah, it's 14 fouls now on Arkansas State. And by the way, Christian Harmon has 2 of them, and he is still on the floor for Arkansas State. He's got 5 of their 9 points.
Arkansas State, not a very deep team, and when you're on the road against a team like SMU, you're just going to have to trust your veteran players to kind of roll with it and hope you can avoid picking up that 3rd foul.
Yigitoglu back inside for SMU. Miller, the rare air ball. Jackson lost the handle. Another turnover. Edwards, the run out.
And again, another turnover. But give SMU credit. They are being very active with their hands around the basketball early in this game.
8 points off 5 Arkansas State turnovers. And now the miss by Diorama. Miller has not scored yet until now. Right on cue.
Right on cue is exactly right. Arkansas State knew coming into this game their priority was trying to limit Miller as much as possible. They just cannot keep him contained for too long. And another turnover by the Red Wolves.
Edwards throws it up. Oh, a little missed time for Jermaine O'Neal Jr., the son of the former All-Star. O'Neal can fly. Could not finish it. And Washington, the defensive play in the corner on Harmon. It'll stick with Arkansas State.
And SMU again, just a little back tip with the deflection and the advanced pass. SMU changing ends of the court quickly, turning more turnovers into offense. Mustangs firing on all cylinders.
To making the tournament a year ago in their first year in the ACC. They were a surprise team last year. They're expecting to contend in this league this year.
I was a little surprised, to be honest, that they were picked 6th in the preseason poll based on their 4th place finish a year ago, and returning 3 key starters, which we were joking about before the game is almost unheard of this day and age. Very talented team, got one of the best point guards in the country, but nonetheless, a team that's going to be reckoned with all season long.
Right, the shot clock, Samet Yigitoglu, one of those returning starters doing work inside.
And I love that. Get the ball inside against the zone. A lot of times teams settle for jump shots against the zone. SMU throwing the ball inside right there. Yigitoglu, easy lay-in.
TJ Caldwell, the Dallas native, on the attack. It was a 17-5 run for SMU, bridging across the timeout. A-State, it really needs stops at this end now. Washington got cut off. The deflection by Diorama. Miller saves it, 7 to shoot. Got the step on Heyman. The kick, O'Neal knocks down the triple.
What a pass there by Boopie Miller. He could have very easily forced that with the shot clock running low. With a great vision to find O'Neal wide open in the corner. Boopie Miller's got this quick little crossover there. You see that left to right crossover. Could have forced it, but great vision to find Jermaine O'Neal Jr. wide open in the corner. Very good three-point shooter. Freshman getting in the scoring column early on. But Boopie Miller, that's the improvement that Andy Enfield was talking about. Just making the right basketball play. Average 20 points a game and almost 8 assists. So defensively, you got to pick your poison. Are we trying to stop him from scoring or facilitating?
Caldwell too strong on the 3. Yeah, Enfield said it that he's bought into being a true point guard this season. O'Neal trying to hammer it against Diorama. Got blocked. A-State, though, could not save it. SMU ball.
You gotta love the aggressiveness here by the freshman, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. going strong.
Had a ways to go,
Yeah,
but he ran right into diorama.
Probably needed another step or two, but I love the aggressive mindset, though.
Yeah, would you expect anything else? He's wearing his dad's number 7 after all.
Man, was his dad a good player. We were talking about earlier today, those Pacers teams were so much fun to watch.
His dad coached him in high school, just across town in Irving at Dynamic Prep. Made it to the Chipotle High School National Championship game back in the spring on ESPN. Caldwell too strong. And an offensive board for Arkansas State. Diorama in the forest. And a foul. SMU's first foul of the game. Yeah, so Jermaine O'Neal Sr. coached Jermaine O'Neal Jr. with son in high school. O'Neal Sr., an 18-year NBA veteran, 6-time All-Star. The memories that they created at Dynamic Prep, about 20 minutes west of here, so special. Played on a big stage on ESPN back in April. It was O'Neal and O'Neal with Dynamic Prep facing off with the Boozer twins, Cameron and Caden, at Columbus High School in Miami. The Boozers won out and claimed the high school national title.
Well, and let's not forget about SMU with a great freshman recruiting class. Obviously, Jermaine O'Neal Jr., a huge part of that. But their highest-rated freshman, Jaden Tubes, who's missed the first 5 games of the season with a wrist injury. They're hoping to get him back soon. The most talented freshman, and talking to Andy Enfield today, says when we get him back, it'll take him a little while to shake the rust off, but he will provide an element to this team that they just don't have right now. At 6'10", can do it all. So a lot of young potential on this Mustangs roster.
And now O'Neal with the jumper. By the way, Toombs was on that Dynamic Prep team with the O'Neals as well. Yeah, exactly. There's a reason they played for the high school national championship. Another steal by SMU. Here's Pierre hanging against Heyman.
I thought for a second there, Jaron Pierre Jr. was going to try to dunk that, but an incredible finish. And give him a lot of credit. Has really done a great job on the defensive end in the first 10 minutes of this ball game.
Nice drive by Jalen Hampton, and the foul is called. SMU has scored 7 in a row to widen their lead.
See, they're just getting in on the active hands defensively, creating the deflection, getting out on the break. And he wanted to try to put that one down, but a great athletic finish, even some contact. Should have been a 3-point play. But Jaron Pierre Jr. really doing a good job defensively, allowing him to get out on the break and get some easy baskets.
Jalen Hampton at the line for Arkansas State as Yigitoglu picked up his second personal, so he takes a seat for SMU. Hampton does a little bit of everything off the bench for Arkansas State. Transfer from Missouri State.
Right now, Boopie Miller off the court for the Mustangs. And this was going to be a little bit of a concern.
And right away, it's TJ Caldwell climbing to the top floor. Yeah, that is, where does the offense come from for SMU without Boopie?
Last year when he got hurt, BJ Edwards, who has the ball right now, kind of had to run the point guard. Hasn't done it hardly at all this year because of how well Boopie Miller's been playing, but he can't play all 40 minutes of every game. So, be interesting to see how SMU reacts with him on the bench.
Pierre shot swatted by Tunkara. A-State going to try to make some hay here with Boopie Miller getting a breather. Royal Blue Smith feeding Hampton inside. Holmes challenged it. And SMU with the steal. Edwards ahead to Pierre for 2 more.
We're gonna beat this horse to death, but SMU just does such a great job. When they know that they've secured the ball defensively, the rest of their wings get out and run. Just making it too easy. It's almost like a pick 6 in football, and another one coming right here.
Edwards, the ultimate disruptor on defense. This time he feeds Mitchell Holmes. It's now 16 points off turnovers for the Mustangs.
When your point guard's sitting on the bench and you aren't too confident maybe running your offense, that's one way to do it.
Oh, Edwards trying to come up with another one. Timeout called. Edwards is everywhere on defense. He set an SMU record with steals.
He's been 1-0 fast breaks.
And Ryan Pannone, A-State's head coach, says, listen, nobody on this team, they're all newcomers, nobody has played this system that Alabama up and down, pace and space, threes and at the rim. He expected growing pains as Pierre misses the three. Tunkara clears it for Arkansas State. But you want growing pains? How about this here in Dallas? You're seeing it on the floor.
And that's definitely part of it, but at the same time, you just got to be stronger with the basketball, too. A lot of these are just getting a deflection and losing the ball.
Edwards in transition, draws the foul. And A-State is without a key piece that was coming off the bench their first two games. Joey Chama, the transfer from San Diego, his right foot in a boot. He has a fracture in his leg. They hope that Chama can come back right before conference play, late December, early January. Yes, small sample size, just 2 games, but he came in, was averaging 19 those first 2.
Tough to go on the road when you're not fully assembled and fully healthy, but give SMU a lot of credit, too. They are doing a lot to cause a lot of those turnovers. But just even that last time, just a missed shot that turned into a 2-on-1 break on the other end. They're just not even being forced to run half-court offense right now.
Come up with something off the missed free throw. Ellingsworth got closed out by B.J. Davis-Ray. Harmon hangs and banks it in.
A good finish there by Christian Harmon going in against Mitchell Holmes. Able to finish off the glass. That's one way to get your defense set, is to score a little bit.
It's a start. They were turning it over almost every possession there for a 4-minute stretch. Edwards offline on the 3. Jackson's been quiet so far. He's had trouble with turnovers. He got it stripped. It'll stay with Arkansas State. More ACC men's basketball coming your way here on ACC Network this weekend. Sunday and Monday. First, number 5 Duke. Big winner earlier tonight. Back home against Howard, 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Then Monday night, 6th-ranked Louisville. Big win on the road against Cincinnati earlier tonight. They face off against Eastern Michigan, 7 p.m. Eastern Monday night here on ACC Network. How about Michael Brown, the freshman for Louisville? Of course, anything Louisville, David, you are tuned into. He looks like a superstar already.
Without question, one of the best talents that's come through there in quite some time, probably since Donovan Mitchell. But how about the freshman talent across the country? One of the deepest freshman classes I can remember in a long time. Just so much talent across the board. Even the ACC this year, a lot of people said last year the ACC was quote-unquote down a little bit, only getting 4 teams into the NCAA tournament. But this year, I think the ACC is going to be very deep. You see another heralded freshman, Cameron Boozer, had a great night tonight for the Blue Devils, but the freshman talent this year across the country has been a lot of fun to watch so far here in the first couple weeks of the season.
I'll tell you what, at the McDonald's All-American game, again, another event that you know all about, David, NBA scouts were raving about this particular class, including Boozer, Brown, and even a few of the players that SMU has pulled in, including Jaden Toombs, who has not seen the floor yet because of that wrist injury. Pierre short on the 3. Edwards chased it down. Trying to fit it into a tight window, and it's a steal by Arkansas State. Harmon playing with those 2 personals. And off the hands of Jackson, out of bounds. You know, it is one thing to deal with the pressure of SMU. It's another thing to have an unforced error like that.
Well, when it rains, it pours, and that's just a byproduct of being sped up. Because of the way this game has gone, with turning the ball over so much, now you're starting to think about it. You're trying to force it a little bit more and just lose focus for a split second. I guess maybe if there's a silver lining in anything, that's one of those dead ball turnovers I was talking about. They can at least get back on defense this time, but Arkansas State just completely out of sync on the offensive end.
You see Andy Enfield there? Looks like he could have caught it. Even he wanted to get out of the way just to make sure his team wasn't the last one to touch it. Washington hits. He's had a nice first half for SMU.
He sure has. Just, again, under control along that baseline there. Hitting that little mid-range jump shot.
Caldwell, the nice step into the lane for 2. Product of Faith Family Academy in Oak Cliff, about 10 miles to the south of here. Now Pierre, that's good. So Jaron Pierre Jr. has 9 to lead the Mustangs.
The infield trying to switch it up there a little bit defensively. Wanted to go zone, not sure his team hurt him, so they stayed with the man-to-man. But they are a team that will look to switch it up, keep the offense off balance a little bit, but it seems like no matter what they're doing tonight defensively, it seems to be working.
Harmon probing, he throws it in with a foul. Boy, what perseverance there from Christian Harmon.
Just a little high ball screen and roll, and SMU playing that drop coverage where Yigitoglu's just dropping back until the guard can recover, but if the guard's unable to get back in front, somebody's got to step up at some point. But great finish there by Christian Harmon, getting downhill to his right hand. Arkansas State's had success when they've gotten a shot up. As crazy as that sounds, they're shooting a good percentage, but they've just had so many possessions they don't even get an attempt up.
Get 13 turnovers for Arkansas State in this first half.
But they're shooting 50% from the floor.
Yep.
So when they've gotten a look, it's been a good one, and they've been able to convert. Just shot themselves in the foot too many times.
Washington matched up against Jackson Ellingsworth. Oh, and Edwards picking the pocket of Silla. Now to Boopie Miller. Bingo for Boopie Miller. That's a 3.
And that is just so deflating if you're Ryan Pannone in Arkansas State. You got to stop. You got a clean rebound. And just careless with the basketball, and then they knock down a 3 in the corner.
Pass a little too tall for Ellingsworth, but a foul called against Miller inside. Now timeout here in Dallas.
Just a deflating play for the Red Wolves, but give credit to B.J. Edwards, a heads-up play. Boopie Miller relocating to the corner. Give that much time to 2 and White. He's going to knock down that 3. Mustangs rolling here at home. Player. I really don't. A lot of times you hear in sports, oh, that's impossible. That's about as close to as impossible as you'll get. 16 steals in a Division I college basketball game for one player. Incredible stuff.
She is absurd. For context, SMU has a lot of steals tonight in the first half. They've got 11 as a team.
That's it?
That's all. Compared to 16 for Hidalgo against Akron. A 15-point SMU lead. Mustangs 5-0 on the year. First time they've started the season that way in 5 years. Trying to make the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2017. Hard to believe that, but boy, they sure believe they have a team that has the makings of a tournament squad by the time we get to March. And this is why another steal. Edwards feeding Yigitoglu, and he comes through again.
Yeah, just too easy if you're Arkansas State. You just can't sit and play directly behind Yigitoglu. He's too big, too skilled, and another turnover for the Red Wolves.
Just Mustangs running out the gate and to the basket. Pierre for 2 more.
And if you're Ryan Pannone at halftime, I mean, what do you say? And almost another one.
What would you say if you're in that locker room coming up?
I mean, look, you got to give SMU credit. They are doing a good job of being active defensively. Don't get me wrong. But at some point, you have to value the basketball. It's that plain and simple. I mean, there's been too many times in this game where guys have just gotten the ball knocked out of their hands, had it taken away from them. You're going to turn the ball over once in a while, but it's almost become mental at this point to where they're starting to play to not turn the ball over instead of playing to do something good for their team, and you just can't play that way.
Christian Harmon, one of A-State's best players, taking a seat here, and T.J. Caldwell converts inside. Caldwell, the Ole Miss transfer.
Again, we said it a few minutes ago. When they've gotten to the rim and gotten a shot off, they've been very successful, over 50% in this game. Just have not had enough opportunities based on not taking care of the basketball.
Again, Edwards has been such a hound defensively, doing work at the offensive end. How about the footwork?
Acrobatic finish there for B.J. Edwards, and not a whole lot going wrong right now for this SMU team.
Heyman taking Yigitoglu inside, no chance. Trying to recover it, it's out of bounds to SMU.
B.J. Edwards doing a great job putting the ball on the floor. Didn't have anything, didn't have anybody, and just great footwork, pivot, and a little scoop shot. Somehow able to get that high enough off the backboard and get it to drop.
And Andy Enfield has been on Edwards early this year. You've got to score more. They lost so much from last year's team. Pierre draws the foul. You think about Chuck Harris and Matt Cross and Cario Oquendo. Edwards averaged 10 points a game last year. He's up to 14 here in the early going this season.
Yeah, and he's a very efficient player. That's the thing I'm most impressed by watching this SMU team here through the first five and a half games of the season now, is the scoring is very balanced, but they're all very efficient. They're all shooting good percentages. They all have good assist turnover numbers. And it's not like they've played a cupcake schedule. I mean, they had a great win against a good Butler team here last Saturday. Played a very good Murray State team a couple of weeks ago. So this SMU team's got to feel pretty good. Again, very early on in the season, but they got to feel pretty good about their chances of making some noise this year in the ACC.
And Pierre was the hero last weekend against Butler. Had the game-winning layup with 3.7 seconds to go. He's got a dozen to lead all scorers. Edwards has 10. Final 2 minutes of the half. Step back by Caldwell. Jermaine O'Neal Jr. The dish to Yigitoglu and a thunderclap at the rim.
How about the pass from Jermaine O'Neal Jr.? Great little pocket bounce pass. Big time vision there by the freshman.
And Heyman at the other end to cut it back to 20. Boy, O'Neal Jr. checks a lot of boxes. He's going to contribute on defense as a ball mover early on, and the shots are starting to fall for him as well. Yigitoglu on the block against Diorama. A mismatch.
Yeah, that's just too easy now. That's the second time we've seen Yigitoglu just get the ball with his guy dead on his back, and he's too big and too skilled. You're gonna have to do a better job of getting the ball out of his hands or double and send somebody after him.
Ellingsworth had his head down. Yigitoglu ends up with the rebound. 50 seconds to play in the half. Edwards feeding the big man, and Heyman lands on top of him. It's a foul.
Well, you see why Andy Enfield is so excited about this freshman class and why they were so highly ranked. Jermaine O'Neal Jr. with the great little pocket bounce pass. Yigitoglu able to catch and finish. Jermaine O'Neal having a great first half here, knocking down the three. Great vision there on the break. When SMU is firing on all cylinders offensively, obviously we've talked about the fast break abilities, but even in the half court, getting the ball inside, they can shoot the ball from numerous positions on the perimeter. Going to be a very tough team to stop defensively. Got to pick your poison on what you give up.
Yigitoglu missing the front end here. He does have 8. 40 seconds to play. Good look for Silla. Got his own miss. Shot clock resets to 20. Silla threw it up. Another offensive board, this time by Hampton. Heyman downhill, and he scoops it home.
A great effort there by the Wolves all around, creating a couple of extra possessions there. SMU obviously going to hold here for the last possession. Good chance here for Boopie Miller to get a little bit of a break here over these last couple of minutes.
And SMU has been just fine without him. See if they can cash in at the end of the half. Pierre off the mark, the tip by Washington. It counts. They might check here overs in the first half tonight. Let's see if Arkansas State can find any juice. Can they just hang on to the ball for a few possessions? That's a good start. Chandler Jackson, who was limited to 2 points in the first half, gets the bucket to open things up here.
Good sign there coming out of the locker room, just trying to get some movement going and maybe just calm the nerves a little bit. We talked about it in the first half. It does become mental at some point where you start to think in the back of your mind, all right, don't turn the ball over here, and what do? You turn it over naturally.
Boopie Miller lines it up. And Jalen Hampton with the rebound for Arkansas State. Miller just 5 points for SMU in the first half, coming off back-to-back points, assists, double-doubles, averaging 20 a game on the young season. Caldwell, Dallas product back home, a strong take.
And Arkansas State not shying away from attacking the rim, which is what they did in the first few minutes of the ball game. See right away, much improved in the first couple of possessions, just being stronger with the basketball and just taking it to SMU defensively.
Nice swing, Pierre in the corner. He's now 0 for 5 from deep, but the offensive rebound by Edwards, who had a big first half. And Edwards continues. He's now got a dozen to go with 7 assists and 6 steals. Might be on triple-double watch here in the second half. Jackson ran into Tunkara. Tunkara gave him some room after all. Hampton on the drive. Out to Jackson for 3. And Edwards on the move for SMU. He's got Washington on the wing. And Washington throws it down.
You see there just the floor balance from Arkansas State. Shot goes up. They didn't have one guy back above the top of the key. It's just too easy, and again, another turnover leads to a fast break on the other end.
Miller to Pierre, cocking the hammer.
It is really, really impressive to watch in person how quickly SMU changes ends of the floor. I mean, they get the ball down in such a hurry, and they're so athletic and are able to finish that you just can't get back. And here we go again.
Once again, Boopie Miller on the steal. Edwards had to gather, finds Washington in the lane, blocked by Tunkara, and a tie-up. It is SMU ball with the arrow.
Well, Arkansas State, first couple of possessions here of the half, did a great job of attacking, but these last few, again, just leading to easy baskets, easy dunks out on the break. And Jaron Pierre Jr. not going to get much easier of a field goal attempt than that here tonight. Just no defense in the game of basketball that can defend against a 1-on-0 break like that after a turnover.
And an offensive foul on B.J. Edwards.
And maybe a little bit of a hook there. Again, getting the bench fired up. Coach is yelling at him to get back on defense so we can celebrate later.
Well, you got to pose first. I mean, you did that at Louisville, right? Just sneak that in, then you can run back.
No. Posing after a dunk was not in my strong suit as a basketball player.
Rick Pitino was not on board with that?
You know what would have happened if somebody would have posed like that?
Yeah.
There already would have been somebody waiting at the score table to check in for you.
Fair. Down low. Yigitoglu getting in on the act at the rim. Yigitoglu now 6 consecutive games in double figures to start the season. He's taken a jump this year so far. Jackson trying to secure an offensive rebound. Hampton comes away with it. Harmon, good look. Heyman gives A-State another 20 seconds.
Good effort there on the offensive backboard for the Red Wolves.
And Harmon pays it off finally with the 3.
That's one way to give yourself extra opportunities to just get on the backboard, which they've done a good job of in this game.
Oh, nice pass. Yigitoglu to Pierre. Couldn't finish, but the foul call.
You know, talking to Andy Enfield earlier today, he says, obviously we're a very good scoring team, but we're at our best when the wealth is spread out. He goes, we need to have 4 or 5 guys every game at scoring in double figures. We don't need 2 guys here or 2 or 3 guys here carrying the scoring load for everybody. They want it to be distributed evenly, and this team can really, really pass the basketball. You see just how unselfish they are and just sharing the ball and making the right play. The ball never sticks in one guy's hands for more than a second or two. Just a very impressive offensive showing.
And David, to your point, SMU's got 4 guys in double figures already here early in the second half, including Jaron Pierre.
And that's with Boopie Miller, their best player and leading scorer of the season, having a somewhat of a quiet night by his standards. But it just goes to show how dangerous this team is going to be all season. They just have so many guys that can get in on the scoring column. So you focus, which Arkansas State did coming into this game at shoot-around, spent a lot of time talking about how they were going to defend Boopie Miller. But when you've got this much talent around him, it's hard to focus on one guy.
Pierre splits the pair. He's got 15 to lead all scorers, and Pierre takes a seat. E.J. Davis-Ray, the freshman, taking his place. There's Davis-Ray matched up against Matt Heyman. Harmon thought about it. He does pull the trigger, left it short. Long rebound to Caldwell. No look to Heyman. He cans the 3.
Andy Enfield not going to be real happy with these last couple of possessions, giving up too many offensive rebounds, and Arkansas State making them pay, hitting back-to-back threes.
So lead back under 20. Miller the step back over Heyman. Rims out. And a foul inside. A timeout with SMU. Red Wolves turnovers. Last year in Enfield's first year as the head coach, the season high was 30. They're at 27 here early in the second half.
You're going to win a lot of basketball games if you force that many points off turnovers. But Arkansas State had a couple coming out of the locker room at halftime, but done a little bit better job, doing a good job of staying on the offensive glass, which has enabled them to stay in this game despite those turnover numbers.
Came up with a stop against Yigitoglu. They climbed out of a big hole last week against Missouri State. They were down 16 and won a dramatic game. That'll help here. Jackson Ellingsworth from downtown. And it's a 16-point game now.
Well, what's the great equalizer in the game of basketball? The three-point line. That's 3 straight possessions where they've knocked down a 3.
Washington wings it up at the other end.
And that wasn't even a fast break. That was after a made basket, get the ball in, advance it up to the corner. Gonna get an offensive foul here. Corey Washington, after knocking down that 3, taking the charge on the other end.
Big smile on his face, and that's what he can bring for SMU, just doing a little bit of everything at both ends.
Just when Arkansas State looked like they were gonna get a little bit momentum going, Corey Washington knocks down that 3. Arkansas State going to go back to that zone here. See if they can throw that rhythm off just a little bit. SMU did a good job in the first half of getting the ball inside into the middle against the zone. Don't want to settle for jump shots, and there you go.
This time doing it with Mitchell Holmes in for Yigitoglu now. Edwards inside the three-point line. He's got 14 to go with 9 assists and a career-high tying 6 steals.
Boopie Miller being active with those hands again is almost creating another steal.
Edwards the closeout on Heyman, but an offensive rebound, Diorama. And Washington picks it up for SMU. Mustangs on the run again. Miller the pull-up 3. Give it to him.
That's why they are just so dangerous as a basketball team. Arkansas State knocked down a couple of 3s. Looks like they may be making a little bit of a run. Next thing you know, SMU goes on a little mini run. But the one thing Andy Enfield is not going to be happy about watching this game is Arkansas State dominating on the backboard, especially on the offensive end. But we see here another steal. Great job by Corey Washington getting in the passing lane. Boopie Miller just recognizing defense backing up. I'm going to step in and knock it down. Opening that lead back up.
And here's your update. Points off turnovers. SMU has already surpassed last season's high in that department. Now 32 points off turnovers in this game. And you saw Miller with A-State at the free throw line going to Andy Enfield. There is a mind meld developing between Enfield and Miller, their second year together here on the hilltop. Miller Misses the three this time. Miller has truly embraced being a point guard this season. A-State throws it away again. Edwards the crafty dribble. Miller's pass deflected, stolen by Ellingsworth. And Edwards takes it right back. His 7th steal. And Edwards draws the foul. A career high 7 steals for B.J. Edwards tonight.
Well, B.J. Edwards on track for a potential triple-double here. You mentioned it, the 7 steals, and not very often do you hear about a triple-double and steals being one of the categories.
No kidding.
But that was just great awareness there. After the turnover by Boopie Miller, just read the eyes of the passer, anticipated really well. Incredible instincts on defense.
More ACC men's basketball coming your way Sunday and Monday. On Sunday, number 5 Duke back in action at Cameron against Howard. Chance to see Cam Boozer and the Blue Devils back on the floor. They blew out Niagara earlier tonight here on ACC Network. And Monday night, 7 Eastern, number 6 Louisville with Michael Brown Jr., another standout freshman, matching up with Eastern Michigan. It was a hard-fought win for Louisville earlier tonight on the road, 74-64. Brown had 22 in that one. Ryan Conwell, the Xavier transfer, had 25.
Yeah, it's about as good of a backcourt as you're going to come across in college basketball between those two. They're going to be a tough, tough team all season long, especially in the ACC. Another offensive rebound here for the Red Wolves.
Make it 14 on the night for A-State. Nice look for Hampton, that's in and out. But Caldwell soars in for the putback and the foul.
Well, that has been Arkansas State's best offense tonight, is the offensive backboard. Just relentless pursuit, all 5 guys going in. Great kick out and a really good look, but again, you see just all 5 guys for SMU just kind of standing around, not really making contact with anybody, just kind of ball watching. I would venture to guess that that's going to be addressed tomorrow in the film session watching this game.
And that is always going to be an emphasis, David, for Ryan Pannone, for his team to crash the offensive glass. He talked about it as a key tonight, specifically against SMU. But you're trying to give your team extra opportunities, extra possessions, running that Alabama system that he ran under Nate Oates the last 3 years.
Well, and a lot of times when you're playing a team like SMU who loves to get out on the break, what you do is you say, all right, let's not worry about going to the offensive backboard. Let's just get back on defense, send all 5 guys back. Well, Arkansas State's not taking that approach, and it has paid off to a certain extent with creating extra possessions to try to make up for the possessions where they turn the ball over.
Pierre drew the foul from Jalen Hampton. And like Pannone told us, he knows that it's going to take time. 15 newcomers. This is a brand new team. As he says, I didn't have a team when I was hired at Arkansas State. He went on the road 20-hour days, 7 days a week. He ate out with recruits for all 3 meals. Said he gained a lot of weight in the process, but bringing in 10 transfers, 5 freshmen, and teaching them this pace and space system, the 3-ball, high percentage shots at the rim. It's just going to take time, and he knows how his team looks right now in November is going to be vastly different by the time we get to March.
We talked about it in the first half. I mean, this is their 6th game of the year, and 5 of those 6 games have been on the road against good competition. But that's only going to benefit them as we see Caldwell, again, get to the rim, showing the explosiveness. But that's only going to benefit them once they get into Sun Belt play. Kind of getting beat up a little bit early on will help kind of develop this team and grow as the season goes along.
Oh, Miller, the creative finish for SMU, lead back to 21. And Boopie Miller in double figures now with 10. Heyman way off on the 3. And out to SMU. A timeout. 20.
Yeah, a lot riding on that one. And a couple weeks ago, I would have thought that would have been even a bigger game. Louisville struggling here the last couple of weeks, but SMU's had a great season. You see SMU just tearing that full court pressure apart.
Samet Yigitoglu now with a dozen. The native of Istanbul, 5 Mustangs in double figures. There's Caldwell inside. He's had a nice second half. Now 17 points in the game for Arkansas State. Miller going down low and weaving around Ellingsworth for the deuce.
Another terrific kind of scoop finish there. That time by Boopie. Miller knows he's not the tallest guy on the court, so you got to get a little creative.
Caldwell had the mismatch against the big, missed the three. And SMU on the move again. Jermaine O'Neal Jr. back on the floor. The freshman, pure. That's a two.
And you can see why they are so excited about his potential. Just effortless right there on the mid-range, and a great finish on the other end by Royal Blue Smith. A little bit of contact there, but no call.
Yes, his name is Royal Blue Smith. A timeout here for Andy Enfield and SMU as O'Neal might be shaken up here. So O'Neal, Gimpy coming off the floor, will step aside. It is an injury timeout. We will stick here just for the moment, but for Jermaine O'Neal Jr., again, the son of the former NBA All-Star, is down behind the bench.
And didn't see what happened in real time, but a great little pull-up jump shot right there. Very smooth, very effortless. Let's hope he's okay.
Yeah, it was the following possession where it might have happened. Under 10 to shoot, Yigitoglu couldn't convert. And here comes Royal Blue Smith. Blue is the name on the back of his jersey. Harmon flips it up with the foul.
So Christian Harmon might be shaken up after a great finish there.
So watch bottom of your screen here. O'Neal, 7 in white. And clearly having trouble crossing the timeline, David.
Yeah, grabbing that left leg, couldn't quite tell what happened. He was pretty quick to exit the game there. Hope he's okay.
Well, we'll step aside now. Timeout, SMU up big. Hopefully Jermaine O'Neal Jr. is all right.
Me as a big Theragun user.
Yeah, all the time. Like just working with you. I have it under the table here. By the way, we saw O'Neal there, gave the thumbs up. I'm good. It's a good sign for SMU.
Well, yeah, he wants to go back in because he's playing really well. I would too.
7 points tonight. The ball went in for him the other night against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Hit 3 threes, had 15 points. He's starting to come on here in the early season, figuring things out. But again, this SMU team really led by that veteran backcourt of Boopie Miller, B.J. Edwards, to go with the transfers, Pierre and Washington. 6 to shoot. Pierre against the bigger Ellingsworth. Rising up for 2. And Silla has the board.
And the ball never got into the paint on that possession for SMU. Just kind of played catch around the perimeter. Got to attack the interior there, get that defense to collapse a little bit.
Here's a 3-ball for Royal Blue Smith. So his given name is Royal Smith, David, but Blue is on the back of his jersey. That's a family nickname, and he somehow convinced A-State to put that on his jersey.
I love it. It's amazing. If you would look at just the stats from the first half with the turnovers that we've talked about numerous times, obviously, big storyline in the game, you would think this would be much more than a 17-point deficit. Give Arkansas State a ton of credit for hanging in there, forcing a turnover of their own right here.
But Holmes, the big man, hit the deck. Pierre lofting and cleared by Tunkara. I mean, the effort has still been there from A-State, but when you turn it over 23 times now, this is what happens. SMU has tied its program record with 19 steals on the night. And Blue hits again from the outside.
It's going to be a little bit of an embellished statement, but it has really either been a turnover or a good look. And in the looks that they've missed, they've gotten back because they've done a good job on the offensive rebound. Just a strange game for the Red Wolves.
In and out from B.J. Edwards. Washington working inside, and he draws the foul. The record-tying steal coming from Boopie Miller.
Boopie Miller just doing a great job reading the passing lane. And how many times tonight have we seen the Mustangs out on the break?
Green just could not say enough about how much of a mentor Green has been for him. Said that Willie Green is the same guy every day. And he says, no matter how this game goes tonight, I want to be that way. In fact, the way he put it is, when I grow up, I want to be Willie Green.
Well, when you coach in the NBA, you have to be the same person every day because 82 games is a grind. But Ryan Pannone, the way this game has gone, we were talking about it during the break. If you looked at just the stats, 23 turnovers, the other team has 19 steals. You think you'd be down 25, 30 points, but then you look at the backboard, Arkansas State is out rebounding SMU 37-21. They have 17 offensive rebounds. So even though they've given possessions up, great pass there, great set coming out of timeout. Even though they've given possessions up by turning the ball over, they've created extra possessions by getting on the glass to kind of equal it out. So give kudos to Ryan Pannone and his staff for keeping this game a little bit closer than you probably would think based on looking at the stat sheet.
Yeah, there are going to be positives that they can take away from this as they finally head back home. 5 of their first 6 here have been on the road. Again, they were in the Bay Area Wednesday night against St. Mary's, fought hard, lost by 13 to the Gales, and trying to hang in there tonight, but it's all about the turnovers here at SMU.
Without question, that's the one thing you point to on the stat sheet and say that is why this game is not closer than it has been. But again, give them credit for hanging in there. There were a couple times where it looked like it could have gotten away from them and gotten ugly, but they found a way to hang in there. And there's no such thing as good losses. I hate when people say that. Oh, that was a good loss. No, there's no such thing as a good loss. But there are lessons to be learned, and this game's a long way from over, obviously, but just, again, another turnover. They just got to learn to take care of the basketball. And if they do, they're going to be a very dangerous team in the Sun Belt this year.
Washington hangs, and out of bounds. Yeah, so Washington misses the layup, but that goes down officially as the school record 20th steal tonight for the Mustangs.
Hey, you don't see that very often. And switching it up here a little bit, going a little 2-3 zone.
Trying to attack the interior with Ellingsworth against Yigitoglu, banging inside. And O'Neal comes away with it. Edwards got the bump, no whistle. Tunkara clears it for A-State. For SMU, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. back on the floor after getting that treatment behind the bench. And another steal. How about 21 on the night? Edwards feeds O'Neal. I think he's just fine.
What an impressive finish for Jermaine O'Neal. At Arkansas State, when Ryan Pannone goes back and watches this, there's going to be so much frustration. This guy, there's an old expression, you try to pass inside of a phone booth. And they're just not on the same page with a lot of these unforced turnovers. It's going to be a very frustrating film to watch. But SMU's defense has been pretty good for the most part, active with their hands.
Oh, Edwards, nice wraparound to Yigitoglu for the flush. Edwards with his 11th assist to go with 16 points. Again, watching out for that potential triple-double because he's got 7 steals as well. And a timeout for Arkansas State. Now, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. went off the floor to get some treatment. He's okay now.
Looks just fine to me, getting way above the rim for the easy finish.
O'Neal is 6'5". Of course, Dad was 6'11", but O'Neal Jr. showing that he can get to the rim himself, just like Dad.
Well, he's been very impressive to me in this game. He's kind of done a little bit of everything. With a blocked shot, has knocked down a couple jump shots. He's gotten, you see the athleticism there going to break, getting out above the rim. Had a terrific bounce pass in that first half on the break that led to a dunk. Just kind of doing it all. No surprise, has a very good feel for how to play the game of basketball.
Of course, Dad didn't play college basketball, went straight to the NBA out of high school back in 1996, but playing for his dad at Dynamic Prep here in the Dallas area, Dad had great advice when O'Neal Jr. was going through the recruiting process. He said, look at a coach's past players. Do they get better? Do they develop? Boopie Miller is fouled here in the backcourt by Jackson Ellingsworth. And so they look at the resume of Andy Enfield, 8 NBA draft picks in his last 7 years at USC. Yeah, that sounds like a good spot here at SMU.
Without question, Andy Enfield has developed players everywhere he's been. I mean, I even go back to the Florida Gulf Coast days. Remember that run in the NCAA tournament? That was absolutely incredible. But also, too, for Jermaine O'Neal Jr. and Jaden Toombs, you get a chance to stay here at home and play college basketball in front of your family. So an incredible opportunity, and give kudos to the SMU staff for keeping these kids here at home.
1-and-1 for Miller. He'll have one more. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, ACC Huddle is in Atlanta for the Pitt Georgia Tech game. Massive game there. They'll get you set for another full day of college football. The 2-hour pregame show, that is tomorrow, right here on ACC Network and also on the all-new ESPN app. Get 4 teams with 1 loss in conference play. Still a lot to be decided down the stretch here for the ACC football championship. And SMU is in that group, by the way. Again, they've got Louisville here tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern on ESPN2. So a 21-point lead for SMU, David. Going to move to 6-0 for the first time in 5 years. Again, chasing that first tournament berth since 2017, 9 seasons ago. It's really hard to fathom it's been that long for SMU, considering what the program has turned into.
And they were knocking on the doorstep last year. See another turnover here. Just cannot seem to find any rhythm whatsoever. But I will be shocked if this SMU team does not hear their name called come tournament Sunday, or excuse me, selection Sunday. I know obviously it's early, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but
sure,
just based on the talent, the experience. That's not a word we hear a lot in college basketball anymore. Not only are these guys experienced, but they're experienced together. They returned 3 starters that played a lot together last year. You had this freshman class. We talked about getting Jaden Toombs healthy, and this team is going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the remainder of the season, no doubt.
And SME fans certainly don't want to hear it, but they remember late last year when Boopie Miller went down with the foot injury, missed 5 games. The team went 2-3 in that stretch, and they wonder, oh, what if? And this year, the what if is when Jaden Toombs gets on the floor, again, still out with the wrist injury he suffered before the season. He's ramping up his activity, and the team really hopes that he can be back by the end of next week, when SMU starts a run of 4 straight games against SEC opponents. That begins in Starkville next Friday night against Mississippi State.
Yeah, the schedule obviously gets a lot tougher here as we get towards December, which most teams do. Now, again, had a great win last weekend against a very good Butler team, beat Murray State earlier this year, but certainly the level of competition will increase pretty significantly here. Again, that is a microcosm right there of how the night has gone for Arkansas State, just simply dropping the basketball without any contesting whatsoever from the defense. Just a frustrating evening for the Red Wolves.
And Edwards splashes a 3 at the other end. 19 for Edwards. SMU running, gunning all night. Ellingsworth misses the 3. And another Mustang stampede. Edwards to Boopie Miller. Ellingsworth takes it after all. Harmon trying to tip it in. And out of bounds off SMU. Timeout with 3:11 to go.
Well, not a whole lot has gone wrong for the Mustangs here tonight. B.J. Edwards having a terrific basketball game, knocking down the 3. Mustangs on their way to the 6th victory of the season.
He's coming out of the huddle. He is on the floor. Edwards led the ACC in steals a year ago, 2.5 per game. A career-high 8 tonight. He's trying to become the first Mustang to put up a triple-double, and a unique one at that, since Jimmy Witt Jr. in November of 2018.
But does he know how close he is? That's the question. Did somebody say something to him? That's what I want to know.
Pierre, no. Keeping it alive. B.J. Davis-Ray swatted by Diorama. Gotta think he knows. Somebody had to find a box score and slip it to somebody in that huddle. No? For what it's worth, SMU has set a program record with 24 steals tonight. Offensive foul on Mitchell Holmes, the redshirt freshman. So 24 steals for a team. Ridiculous number. David, we were curious during the timeout. We looked up your outstanding career, starting at Kansas, of course, then at Louisville, 2-time All-Big East selection. How many steals in your 4-year career? You actually had more than 24. You had 47.
I definitely would have taken the under on that. That surprises me, but hey, maybe the stat guys were just being kind to me. But we're obviously a terrific defensive team, but we played a lot of zone, and I don't remember getting a lot of steals, but I'll take it.
But Rick Pitino, he stressed deflections, right? So you had to be a part of that.
I guess so. I don't remember it, but hey, stats are never wrong. But let's go back to Hannah Hidalgo. So she had 16 in a game by herself.
Yes. NCAA record, yes.
B.J. Edwards has 8 right now, so just halfway there. I still can't wrap my head around that.
Hannah hitting that game winner for Notre Dame against USC earlier tonight. Caldwell at the line for 1-1. The Dallas native will have one more. And Caldwell's actually tied his career high, 18 points to lead the Red Wolves here tonight. Played for Chris Beard at Ole Miss last year, and a really big second half for Caldwell. 11 of his 19 coming since the break. But again, the story tonight all about SMU's defense. Coming in, they had scored 100 points, 2 of the last 3. They ratcheted up the intensity on defense. Oh, and Jermaine O'Neal Jr. is ratcheting things up himself. Another big dunk by the freshman. Diorama the finish in traffic with a foul.
So that play was very slow developing. I saw it happening. Great recognition by Edwards, but when he threw it, I thought there was no way Jermaine O'Neal Jr. was going to be able to finish that. He almost had to turn in midair. His back was almost to the rim. Just an incredible finish. I'd be surprised if we saw that on SportsCenter later on, maybe not. I mean, just an unbelievable catch and finish. a great find, but the timing of it, you see, his body is almost going away from the rim. He had to turn in midair. Just a ridiculous alley-oop finish by Jermaine O'Neal Jr.
You remember about midway through the second half, he was limping off the floor and the trainer was attending to him. That seems so long ago. Again, the son of the 18-year NBA vet, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. was in the ESPN 100 for this class of 2025, ranking 84th, one of 4 ESPN 100 recruits that made their way to SMU. The number 10 recruiting class overall to join the likes of BJ Edwards and Boopie Miller.
And all Texas products, too.
Yes.
Andy Enfield making a big point about keeping the local products home. Obviously knocked it out of the park with this freshman class.
Holmes on the block. Oh, O'Neal soaring for another tip-up try. But it's cleared by Royal Blue. We're just going to drop the Smith at this point.
I like
It's
it.
not even on his jersey. And Diorama's fouled. And Andy Enfield, you said it, David, all of them, Texas products. Enfield has made that a point of emphasis. This is such a basketball hotbed. In addition, of course, Friday Night Lights, football, we all know about that here in the state of Texas, but that has been a goal for Enfield, who built his teams at USC in a similar way. It's not all about the portal, it's about being selective there, but your foundation comes with an outstanding freshman class and developing.
Well, Andy Enfield has been obviously at USC for 11 years. You got all of Los Angeles and all of Southern California to recruit from. Now living in Dallas, you got the entire state of Texas. So certainly, just from a number standpoint, you're going to have plenty of options to choose from a high school talent standpoint. But I mentioned it earlier, their staff deserves a lot of credit for keeping these guys home. You see BJ Davis-Ray knocking down the nice little turnaround jump shot.
Also part of that recruiting class, he's from St. Louis, but spent part of his high school career here in the Dallas area. Caldwell, also from Dallas, missed the 3. Offensive rebound by Harmon. That's really the one sticking point for SMU tonight. Arkansas State giving up a ton of offensive rebounds, but A-State turning it over a ton as well.
Yeah, Arkansas State out-rebounding SMU 48-30. But again, go on the road and turn the ball over 30 times. Well, home road, doesn't matter where you're playing. You turn the ball over 30 times, it's going to be next to impossible to try to win.
Edwards rattles in the 3. Yeah, he's got ice in his veins. 22 for Edwards. And one more turnover. And one more run out for the Mustangs. It's Edwards with the exclamation point.
The crowd now eyeing the 100-point mark on the scoreboard. Looks like they might get it.
How about right here? Edwards gives it up this time to the freshman, Davis-Ray, helping SMU hit the century mark. For the 3rd time in 4 games, SMU notches 100 points. And thanks to their defense tonight, Andy Enfield's team